So just keep it real.
The Godfather. The weekend sounds great.
Godfather is the man.
Best music for your listening pleasure.
Stand by for showtime. That's right, stand by for showtime. Mafiatone, stand by.
Report to me. There's some questions you left to answer. Report to me. Disrespect ain't no laughing matter. Report to me. I'll be the judge, I'll be the jury. Report to me immediately. Passed by around this morning at 2:45, but you weren't there. No way to welcome me. I'm taking this matter seriously, so make sure you get in touch with me after you read the note.
Yes, my people, this is the part of the show that everybody loves to hear.
This ain't no joke.
Report to me, Godfather.
To me, there's some questions you left to answer. Report to me. Disrespect ain't no laughing matter. Report to me. I'll be the judge, I'll be the jury. Report to me immediately.
Hi, this is Leon from Mafia Tone Sound System, Birmingham. You're in tune to the Godfather. Keep it real, Sunday show.
Thought you were happy under my supervision, but you're moving too fast. What kind of life are you living? Whose example are you following? Be careful, this is your final warning. So, report to me. There's some questions you left to answer. Report to me. Disrespect ain't no laughing matter. Report to me. I'll be the judge, I'll be the jury. Report to me immediately.
Yeah, this is Linton Kwesi Johnson, and you're in tune to the Godfather.
Fire, baby.
Yeah, this is Ira Love, and when I'm in Wolverhampton, I keep it locked to Godfather. Keep it real. Hi.
SkylineRadio.org.uk. We go straight to Birmingham. Good afternoon to you, Leon. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes. Good afternoon and happy holidays, everybody. Happy holidays. Happy holidays.
Yes, happy Easter to you, sir. Thank you.
Sir.
Yeah, man, enough respect. A time that we have been talking for quite some time, and the both of us have been showing respect on both sides of the borderline. Birmingham alongside Wolverhampton. Many of great sounds have come out of the two boroughs right now. Now, Leon, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Let me ask the question. Many people have heard the sound and know about a sound called Mafia Tone. Obviously, the man behind that was, of course, the man himself, the big man, of course, Stafford Douglas. Now, many people will have the conversation start off with the middle part of the conversation about Mafia Tone. But let's start from the beginning with yourself. Leon, tell us, how did you begin your sort of high sight of the sound Mafia?
Okay, the eyesight, we got to go right back to the root. And we're going back to, early 60s, practically from more or less just after I was born. Stafford came to England 1962, by the way. I was born the year before. I was born in Handsworth on a road called Ivy Road, and we moved to Thornley Road in 1964.
Okay.
Now, by 1966, 7, 8, Stafford's mom was a tenant in my father's house. So they lived in my house in the 1960s. This is long before the sound. So I'm showing the people them the connection. And the connection is my late mother, his late mother, and Father Bugsy, who is Stafford's right-hand man in the sound when he started the sound in 1973, 74. His mother as well, who I affectionately know as Aunt Pat. So she, remember, all these three of them living in Handsworth. So Stafford's mom is Thornhill Road with me. My mom is also Thornhill Road because it's my mom. And Father Bugsy's mom was down a road called South Road off St. Michael's Hill from back. I'm talking 60s because Father Bugsy came here in 1969. He came as a teenager. So do the maths. Them time when him come here, I was 9 years old. So if you look back, and Stafford is like a few years older than him, obviously, as a older person. So when Stafford started the sound by 1973, when he went to London and he left London from Brixton Hill and came back to Birmingham, 1974, and started out the sound, Mafiatone I-5, which he officially called that name, 1975. So my involvement with the sound, with the man in question, stems back from practically near birth, because my mother came from Jamaica with me in 1961. My mom came here in August. I was born in November, so they would call it the tribal gather. Some people say, I'm a Searchy. Now, my mom was working at the Santa Rosa Club in Birmingham, as people went on to know it as Rialto, and then it was called Tasha's. When it was the Santa Rosa Club, my mother worked there, carrying me. So music, may I hear that from probably in the belly, because them time they have, rhythm and blues and them kind of something there. And
so
Stafford's mom also, we used to keep, just cut you quick, used to keep parties in the late 60s, early 70s, and I would have to go as a child and we'd clean up and they bottle them the next day, especially when she keeps certain session up a people's house on Murdoch Road and Tarnell Road. And people like Mr. Percy House at number 59 Foley Road, and it's smoother family, things like that. So
let me ask you a question back from the 60s, go back to the 60s. At that time, which sound system sort of you had an influence on? Who was the sounds at the time when you was around?
Oh yeah, the sounds that influenced me, Count Fire, West Bromwich. Again, he came out 62. Obviously, I was listening sounds in 62 at my baby, but my late uncle happened to be his next door neighbor on Jetson Street in the 60s. So going up to my uncle's during holiday periods, like even now at Easter, back in 1967, 8, 9, and that, I used to see Count Fire, who is my uncle's next door neighbor, my late uncle, with his amplifier, with his boxes, with his sound in the house. So I'd like to say big up to Inspector Lee, his son, known as Dennis, his sister Cicely, O'Neill, Trevor, and Colleen, him other sister, and the late Mrs. Morrison and him father, Mr. Morrison, caught
Right.
fire. So
Okay.
who know fire was and Pallion across the road. But my biggest influence is a sound in Handsworth called Parmadice. Parmadice, who used to, oh, by the way, the late Sir Christopher, my condolences and that's and respect to him. At the time, Sir Christopher, the late Sir Christopher, used to play blues up on Regent Road in Handsworth. I'm talking 1972, 3 and so. And Parmadice was on the corner of Regent Road, Mr. Palmer, Parmadice sound. That's the sound that really grabs me. Because even though Christopher played more the up-tempo stuff what we used to, Parmadice was the king at the whole record them. He was quite a character. Late Mr. Palmer.
All right. Okay, I've heard the name.
Great influence.
I heard the name Parmadice before.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't really ring a bell on a regular basis with many other sound systems because you're the only one that I've heard use that name, Parmadice. And
well, I'm going to tell you about Parmadice.
Mm-hmm.
There's an artist. This guy is a fantastic singer in Birmingham. I know him as Gussie. And he's got a studio called Kettle Drum Studio. He's also a member of Messiah Esquire Sound System in West Bromwich. He's a founding member, in fact, with Inspector Lee and Dolphus them with that sound. And he used to operate Parmadice sound and bring it to Oaklands as late as 75, 76 to play.
Parmadice sound system. I only recognize sound system back in my early teen days when we had a number of elders with their own little personal little sound system, not as big as some people, but
everybody talk about their sounds and their influence, and like I said, I'm giving just my account. There's also Ajax used to play blues on.
As I was saying, back in my days, sound system in Wolverhampton wasn't as popular as some sounds. But at that time, we talk about Parmadice and them sounds in them days. Their sounds wasn't as big as the sound system that you have it today with the big boxes. Most of them boxes were small boxes, and they had to put them on tables. Was Parmadice the same size them days, or was it the same size as when Quaker came out?
In fact, Quaker and Parmadice would have come out of the same size relatively, but Quaker grew, whereas Parmadice didn't. Because Parmadice stayed being blues. Lots of sounds came out. They would have a box on a chair. I'm talking 68, 970, 50 watts was a big thing. If you have 100 watt, man, so you're trying to blow up Wembley, that kind of thing. So then if you look at the technology available back at the time, a lot of valve amplifiers was 100 watt, 200 watt. Is when the Roots thing came out, which I don't really want to elaborate on yet. Further down in the decade, in the 70s, when you start to see 500 watt and 1,000 watt. The first 1,000 watt system I know of in Birmingham was Studio City. They were known as the 1,000 watt sound. And remember the famous pink boxes with the black writing. So big up Dominic. He's doing a great work with him for his father. He took over his father, who's done legendary work at Studio City in Birmingham. It has to be said, Studio City was up there with the very best them in that business in those times. Studio City.
Okay, yes, I've heard that.
Big song, a big song.
Right. So
big song,
that was around your time as in the 60s. As a teenager in 1974, 75, the Rastafarian life in Handsworth became to its top of its starting period. At the time, how many sound systems or which sound system started to play the elements of the Rastaman's music?
Okay. Well, first of all, if we go back to 1973, 74, in fact, 72, Harder to Come came out with Jose and with Jimmy Cliff. Right. So Rasta hit the screen. Perry Hazel directed it, I believe, and it started to come to England. Then Big Youth came out with Screaming. The Rasta influence hit Birmingham more 73-4. And by 1974, sounds before that was the Counts and the Lords and the Jukes and the Sirs, Juke Wally, Count this, Count that. and then they rust that thing with Ja. That's when the people like Stafford Douglas started to come on the scene, and you had like Lord Shirley, Eternal Youth, Bismarck, the late Dingy. Them times, they're great, very, the Rasta thing came into the fold. Mana Not Up, Dread Up, House of Dread. Parents said, boy, they kind of hit the kind of this house, boy. So you went out, you left, you saw all these House of Dread, like, they were like squats when you look back, like you're squats. You had Hall Road, Turville Road, known as Bottom of Handsworth, Churchill Road, Westminster Road, Tarnell Road had one, a man named Tubby's. Tubby's, not King Tubby's, Jamaica, but a guy called Tubby's who used to live on Forney Road, and he had a house where man could go there, sit down, have a draw, reason about African and Rasta and that kind of thing. That was 74, 5, 6.
Right. At that time, Handsworth was known for its culture and its music and the sound systems around that time. Stafford Douglas, of course, he moved to London. Before he came back to Birmingham, what was he doing in London? Because he had a sound system in London. Do you know much about that?
Yeah, yes. His sound in London is 73. He had a sound, he called it Mafia. He was also nicknamed Mafia because he hanged around, road boys, that kind of thing back in the day. So he's known as Mafia. He's also known as Spuddy, affectionately with close family and friends. He's known as Spuddy as well. He was called Mafia. He was in Brixton Hill, road called Homeward Garden, a corner house. I remember the corner house just off Brixton Hill. Mm-hmm. And he came back here in 1974. He came back to Birmingham to more establish himself. Also, his timing was very good for Birmingham because before that, we had an incident where police start locked down Birmingham due to violence, blah, 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 blah. And Stafford said, man, fi run blues. And he was, I think, very instrumental in setting up blues on roads like Radnor Road. And by the way, when he came back from London, because he says he couldn't get all the bookings he wants and the recognition, so he come back to Mom, because Stafford, man, love him mother. He's everywhere mother, the Stafford there. And he set it up, Mafia Tone, Hi-Fi, officially 75. And before that, in 74, we played down, or I should say he played down, we played down Westminster Road with a song called Zion Sound that came on the scene around the same time, 74. The late Alfred Paddyfoot, by the way, he also was a record distributor, and he had a record shop on Villa Road.
Mm-hmm. Been there quite a few times. He was one of our main distributors for our sound system back in for many sounds in Wolverhampton and surrounding parts of the Midlands as well. Very popular sound, and a nice man too. Very nice man too.
Very nice man.
But of course, over the years, we've seen a lot of different changes amongst many different sound systems around Handsworth and also the whole of England. But like I said, Stafford Douglas was a man he was kind of different from everybody else. And this is a man that took a lot of time to produce music and put music together. And I was looking at your Facebook page the other day. Well, not just the other day. I noticed it. I said, wow, the amount of equipment that he had, and the fact that also all those tapes that he has with music that still hasn't been heard to this day are still there on those master tapes. I haven't seen any other sound system with that amount of master tapes sitting there waiting to be done. How did he get involved in that kind of reel to reel? Because them days reel to reel was a thing where you send the reel to reel abroad to get certain songs. How did he get himself involved in that?
Well, Stafford got himself involved with that, which you had to get yourself involved with that because that was the format of the time. Now, if I may just roll back quickly, the advent of magnetic tape was after the Second World War. When the Americans liberated Germany, they came across magnetic tape because during the war, they could not understand how Hitler propaganda messages had good quality because England was using what's known as steel band, not the band like Calypso, but the actual the medium was steel that would be on recorders, and magnetic tape. Also, Bing Crosby was very instrumental in its development because then artists in America, like Hollywood, you could pre-record a show on tape and it would be aired at a further time. Whereas before magnetic tape, you had to be in the studio and you better get it in the tape. Just like in Jamaica in the early days when they would record, the artist would, the producer would say, okay, stand by, we're rolling. 1, 2, hence why you see plates with the 2, 3. It's counting yourself in, and you better ready car. One waste man tape on plate. So Stafford and people like Lloyd Coxon, by the way, big up yourself, Lloyd Coxon. Lloyd Coxon even says to me, and many times we've talked, that he's been very instrumental in my guidance and bringing back my brand of Mafia Tone and so forth, along with the great Mo Ambassador and etc. And Lloyd Coxon says on many occasions they would be on the same plane, going to Channel 1 studio in Jamaica with their Ampex tape, because the Ampex 456, you got the Ampex 457, you got the Ampex 499. For those who don't understand what I'm on about, those are the different grades. The 499 is multi-track tape, because 2-track tape is a split track, usually rhythm on the right channel or and vocal on the left, which is known as split, and you mix it to taste and to balance. But your multi-track, which is really a work tape, that would be on a wider based emulsion tape on a reel. So you have the tape speed, 15 IPS, 30 IPS. Then you got the different formats, you got the different sizes, you got the different studio, you got DBX processing, you got Dolby, which is different again, which is the invention of Ray Dolby, 1966. DBX is 1971, respectively. So if you listen to scientists, the great scientists, E. Overton Brown, he used the Dolby tone, because the tone is to just so that they reference, so that you can say, if I give you a recording and it's at, say, level 1, yours can be at level 1 as well. Right. And he used the Dolby tone as an effect. That beep, 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 beep. That's Dolby.
Many people who just heard you talk about the different types of grade of reel-to-reels that they use in the studio. You would compare that to a normal cassette, because we as normal people use cassettes for our cars, etc. And obviously you got the TDK X Metal and TDK SA, and then you got the D's, etc. And different makes as well gave you different quality in your cassette. So, like you just mentioned, the reel-to-reel, very interesting. Numbers and sizes are also very important based on the machine that they were using.
And speed. And you got the speed and the alignment and the bias. There's a thing called you got a bias. What the bias does, it helps the tape to be impregnated electronically with electromagnetic waves that to be printed onto the tape. Now, another thing I'd like to really let listeners know, because I hear a lot of sound man make up a lot of nice about dub plate. Plate come from tape. Tape is the master. That's the daddy of them all. Plate come from tape. Tape don't come from plate. So a man with a dub plate, I'm more to rate a man with a master tape, because with the master tape, you cut as many plates, a different argument again. But magnetic tape, and then you just mentioned the cassette and the different formulations and so forth. Ampex also, which is a professional company for grade for tape, they also did a cassette version.
Don't forget, at them days there wasn't a thing called digital as such yet.
No.
So it could only have come from a tape, and everything was on a tape anyway.
Well, even now, a lot of digital studios still will use Pro Tools and that, which is a great medium for making music, but they will, for that warmth and for that gelling it together, they will put it on, half-inch reel tape. When you got half-inch tape running at 15 inches per second, non-Dolby, non-DBX, believe me, nothing touches it. It's literally like the person's in your home, like a ghost. It's so humane. It's so I'm lucky to have tapes. So when I'm listening back to them, it's like Prince Far Eyes in the room, because you hear every nuance. Yeah, that's what tape does.
Right.
So.
Okay.
But you have to know for use.
Let me ask you another question. Now, other people want to know as well. At what point did you get yourself this time involved with Mafia Town sound system? At what age did you get involved? Because you've got so much artillery with you that is part of Mafia Tone. And obviously, Douglas would have had a lot of stuff. How did you start to get yourself affiliated with all those instruments and stuff that he had left behind?
Okay, first of all, this is what's going to be a shock to a lot of people. All those tape machines and mixing consoles, I brought them myself. What he left me, he left his wife, Maureen over there in Nottingham, is the magnetic tapes. And he had a son called Leon as well, who sadly passed away a few years ago. May he rest in peace. And he came over and met me in 2010 with some of the tapes. And me and him sat down at the memorial that they kept in Birmingham for his father in 2010. And I remember me and him sat there and he goes to me, why? No, I says to him, yeah, all these DJ them and man them up play all kind of music. And I said, well, them not play no art and craft. You might get Dungeon and everybody plays Motherless Children. I mean, where's the real catalog and the stuff? And he goes, well, I've got tapes, but I got no machine. And I turn and I says to him, well, look at that. I've got the machine, but I don't have the tapes. Although, and I'll add for people listening, I have a lot of studio tapes from other sources because I also used to offer a service for transferring a lot of magnetic tape because I've got the machines and I know how to do that. Let's put it that way. I really know my stuff when it comes to tape. Got a lot of experience in it, and I've got a lot of 9 tape machines at last count with different blah 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 blah. So what happened is I got the tapes and then I got the equipment. So I said to myself, okay then. I noticed out there from the sound went down in 1980. 1980, the sound came out. If the people are listening, 1974 to 80. I set it up the page 40 years after he started the sound. So if you look at my take on Mafia and my continuation is more up to date. His is 20th century, mine's 21st. I don't want people to make the comparison because I'm just really keeping the legacy and the name alive. So in order to do that, it's not that he left me with equipment because Stafford had tapes, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, but he never had tape machines. He went to studios and would hire them. Same thing with Lloyd Coxon. Then man, they just go. I think Lloyd had a reel-to-reel. I think he had a Revox. I don't know if he still got it. But Stafford never had tape machines. Stafford would have a lot of tapes. He used the studio for that. What he had was equipment, his sound. A lot of the equipment from 1980, if I may add, he brought over Ray Symbolic. The first man, he was instrumental in the first yard sound, Jamaican sound, to come to England, and they toured in 1980. And again, ladies and gentlemen, they toured with Stafford Sound, Mafia Tone hi-fi. They used these boxes and his amplifiers. They just bring the record. When they went back, I don't know if they took the amp with them or whatever, but I think the preamp, which was a freeway, is with one of his family, Nottingham here. But the box, I remember the garage turntable, that's where, and the box gone, and Father Bugsy them says well, they went into the new dancehall style. So a lot of the records, a man get 10, a man get 6 or whatever, and it got scattered. What I have is what left. And what I did, I built upon what I've got. And
right.
Says, okay, then if I'm going to really, so yeah.
Yeah, so you built on top of what was left behind, of course, which is the majority of them was the tapes and the reel-to-reels. Now, you've got a few different machines, I see. And obviously, those machines are from that period of time, from the 80s upwards.
70s, 70s upwards.
Some of 70s. Yeah, okay, all right.
Yes, 70s. Go on, Godfather.
The catalogue of information and details that you have and you show on Facebook is superb in terms of people who have never had an experience to have things like that in their hands or obtain things like that. Because myself, I'm a reel-to-reel man, and I used to have a Sony. Yeah.
Good brand, very good.
Very strong brand and very heavy to carry.
That's the thing. You see, but they're good work. They're strong workhorses. So it just depends on what you're looking for, because you got the professional machines, you got the domestic machines, because you had what they call the semi-pro market as well. Whereas if you remember Grundig, Philips, they did reel-to-reels, because it was a lot of it was used in dictation. If you remember Colombo, when they must pipe on the man, you see the little reeler spin, that kind of thing. So it was the format at the time. And what I wanted to do to preserve that time and to share with the world my love for what I love and want to share for people who also love it, like yourself, as you said, and for others who it's new to them. Because a lot of these people today and kids, bless them, think it's all having a laptop or having a CD player and billing beats. So I'm trying to share with people the experience of being at King Tubby's studio, Channel 1. Oh, by the way, I have the same tape machine that Scratch Perry had at the Black Hawk studio. I got the same machine. I got the exact same machine, 16 track that they used at Channel 1. I've got the exact same machine, the Tascam, and I've also got the same machine that they have at Abbey Road Studio to this day, the Revox. I've got this exact same machine, sir. I don't mess around with them. Something
there you have it. You're talking a different language to those who don't know much about reel-to-reels, right? And especially to the young ones. And as much as your things would be classed as museum pieces.
Yes.
Right.
And my museum is for the world to see. Hence, I set it up the page 10 years ago to share that with the world. So, hopefully I get a lot of support. And thank you to all those people who's been supporting over the years. I'm looking to put on something really special because I'm in my 10th year now. And it's I've been going for 10 years as Mafia Tone Hi-Fi on social media. 10 years. I celebrate 10 years on April the 9th. 10 years.
That's
the very day.
This April coming.
Yes, April the 9th, 10 years.
Okay.
And if you look at Stafford Douglas, that's why I hope you're proud, Stafford. He went for 6. I've gone for 10 years. I'm not even started yet. So I'm taking his thing, hence why I have the equipment to go back to bring it forward, to share to the world, because each one teach one. So, I learn every day. And like I says, in order to instead of just talk about old Stafford great, which he was a very phenomenal great man, I put my money where my mouth is and I put it into action and I put it into reality and build it.
Right. Okay. So
if I didn't do that, we wouldn't have all these tank machines and things like that. So that's what I do.
Like I said, many of the stuff that I've seen you have, there should be sort of an expedition or a museum of some sort, because the legacy of sound system needs to be reserved. Just like the people in Bradford, I think it's Bradford. There's a group of guys got their stuff in a museum, which is going to be there for the next part of this year. I haven't had a chance to go down there. I hope to do so. But the likes of sound system that we are seeing from that time still playing now. The likes of people like Quaker City.
Yes.
Now, in terms of, he hasn't got the sort of reel-to-reel and stuff on that side, because obviously he's dealing with the other side of sound system. But from the years of 1960 plus, when he started till this present day, on the 27th of this month, he played out at Sir Christopher's after party. Yeah.
Yes.
And let me tell you that you wasn't there, but let me tell you, it was superb. It was something else. Everything played. For a microphone, from a sound system from that time, his microphone was sweet.
Well, did you also know, and all credit to Father Quaker as well, he played at the memorials that was kept for Stafford Douglas as well. He brought his sound, and the same service he offered for the late Sir Christopher, he did that for the late Stafford Douglas as well. So absolute hats off to Father Quaker and Ryan as well, his son who work with him, and and the rest of the team and so forth. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the people who put it on and that kind of thing, and it was a real tribute to him.
Yeah.
So
some great,
I say
some
respect to them.
Yeah.
Put it on, yeah.
Some great history amongst many of the sound systems. I'm sure many sound system brothers and sisters would have a lot of stories to tell about their experiences around various individuals.
Yeah.
And there's probably some sounds out there that we don't hear about on a regular basis that also has got that great influence amongst many sound systems. Now,
like Studio City. Studio City.
Right.
And Lord Shirley. Lord Shirley is a sound. The man know music. Reggae George, pick up yourself. The man know music. Oh boy, does he know music? So
right. Now let me ask you a question.
Sure.
There's a book called The Movement of Jah. Is that your profile? Tell us a bit about that.
Okay. After the riots of 77, they set it up the Prince of Wales Trust. If you remember, Prince of Wales Trust when he was Prince Charles, and for the taking the youth them off the street. Jungle Man got funded, going to Jamaica, met John Lords through Linval Thompson, cut a lot of dub, another great sound, Jungle Man, emerged from that. And a book was put together about Rasta, England, and that book contains people and stories and testimonies then, I should say, from Jamaica and from England. And I was coming from Bullring, hot summer day, 1977, and I'm, going down to Hamsworth Park and that, and I was known back then for wearing khaki, and I was famous, if I may say, without trying to show up. I was famous for this hat I used to wear, like a beaver type hat. It was known as the Crown because it had diamond segments. And it's the late Stafford Douglas who gave me that hat in 1976. Coming on my room, boy, so I'm Crown for you. And I remember wearing that to Oakland's in 76. And believe me, lots of my friends have said, wait, where you get them the hat there from? It's similar to the hat that Jose wore in the film, How Did I Come, 72. So the book was a photographer, Derek Bisham, Bishman or something like that, took the series of photographs, photographing life in Handsworth, Black, the community, that sort of thing. So it's a montage, and I happen to have a whole center spread to myself called Natty Dread. So what he was basically saying is that my image, the dress sense, dreadlocks, the age, because when the book come out, I was 17. I'm 17, and that book was in a shop called Arambi on Grove Lane in Birmingham, which was a shop, very cultural shop. You could buy a lot of African art and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I remember
that.
Right. Is that shop still there, or has it moved to a different location?
No, sir. No, that shop they gone long. That shop they gone out.
Right. The people behind it. The
people behind it. Funny enough, I saw one of them. Them man are getting on in them age now.
Okay.
The man and them man, they're getting on in them age now. But he looks at me and him say, "Wait, me know that boy they're from." And I thought, bless him, he don't recognize me. It's a long time. But that book went worldwide. It was an absolute famous book. And the late Stafford Douglas again is a clever man, because what Stafford would say is, "Come boy, turn up your side of the song." Because he knows that that's the man. I was known as the man in the book. If you don't know me, you don't know my name. I was just known as the man in the book. And back in them days, women, it was unheard of to be photographed in a book, because, we believed all kind of foolishness when you look back. Well, Babylon, I take your picture for you and all them nonsense. We look back, we were very ignorant. Some of us still are, unfortunately. But anyway, that's another story. But back then, if you look in the book, there's no picture of the sound. To my knowledge, there's no photograph of the sound. There's no photograph of us as a collective with the sound. But if anyone had a camera, then please bring it forward, because I used to have to stand up side of the sound, side of the High Tower, in the same khaki outfit and the hat from the book.
Right.
So, and it sold the other day, by the way, if I just throw in quickly, for £266. And a gentleman in Australia brought it. And when it came out on publication, it was £1.80. £1.80.
Back in them, right. And who bought it for? How much is it?
And
again?
It's in black and white.
You just said something that somebody from New Zealand bought it for how much?
Sorry, Australia, £266.
And it cost in the first place £1 what?
£1.80. £1.80. Pound note.
So we're talking about a difference in how many years? A difference?
1978 to now, what were they? 46 years, something like that.
Wow.
And by the way, I just throw in just to close the chapter on the book. The publisher was literally across the road from Grove Lane, from Brian Harris Record Shop. The publisher was literally across the road from Brian Harris Record Shop. So big up yourself, Radar Reed. He supports the page. Great elder. He knows his stuff. And many a times I see you and stuff for them discussing records in a Brian Record Shop.
Okay.
Don't Grove Lane.
Okay.
Yeah, Grove Lane.
Right. So we're gonna wrap it up here right now. What I want to ask you now, you're actually performing the sound itself, Mafia Tone. You've taken the responsibility from that time to now, this present day, as Mafia Tone. How many other members are there with you?
Okay, this is why I'm so glad for this interview. Father Bugsy, you know, he knows it's an open mic for him. He comes sometimes and endorse it. I've played out in London with him when we played with Coxon. I've been on Dan Sinclair with people like Quancho, played with V-Rocket, Java as Mafia Tone. And the Mafia Tone of yesterday is a different Mafia Tone. So that chapter's closed because the late Stafford Douglas said to me in 1970, he says, set up yourself, youth man. He says, I must set me up. So I've brought him as far as I can bring him. And the man them from that sound and that era, I don't think they get it too tech. Say some little box boy back then turn new proprietor, tell him what it is. So I'm bringing it in a direction and a vision from him, but I'm doing it my way. Are you
bringing it as an expedition or as a sound system?
Both. Because when I play the music, like I says, I refer to my sound as like a time machine. I'm going back to bring the thing forward, but I'm bringing it creatively and innovatively. You see, I've got the modern stuff and I've got his stuff, but it's not so much mafia. It's the era and the time and the genre. Because I've got a lot of music that Quaker has, Coxon, Shaka, Jatobi's, Moambasa, that kind of things. I've got the era. Okay. So I don't pigeonhole myself by just saying, I just do this as mafia. So, all right then. For people listening out there, there's, like I said to you earlier on, Godfather, there's no cassette of the sound. Anyone have one, please give us a call. And I will assure you, if you got it on cassette, what I play, you will be exactly what he played. Exactly. In fact, mine is cleaner, because I've got the equipment and the knowledge and the expertise to clean them up. Mine's is cleaner. Mine's cleaner. So
you just want to hear the format of how Mafia did play and put those things together.
Did play, sharing. Also, like I said, I was supposed to play London last week and couldn't get Van Man and me man about. Not at all. It's just an arrangement. We had an arrangement and things didn't work out. But hey, not to worry about that.
That's the way it goes.
The sound is coming, and I hope people will come and support it. And believe me, I'm going to bring people back down memory lane the right and the proper way. Right and the proper way.
So, of course, you're going to be in Wolverhampton very soon.
Yeah.
And besides Wolverhampton, where else are you going to be in the next couple?
Bristol, hopefully probably September or so. I'm looking to go Bristol. Dates to be announced, but these are the planned cities where there's a demand for me. Leicester as well. I'm supposed to be in Leicester next Saturday with Moambasa. Everything work out with that. Things are just, to be sorted out, blah, 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 blah. And I'm looking to talks with Quaker and Ryan Junior Quaker says, "Yeah, man, we can do something together."
So there's many. We're pushing for time here right now. So there's many things in progress to look forward to, and the listeners and the audience can be part of the Mafia Tone 2024 platform. Now, if they want to know anything about yourself, where can they find details and information from?
Two things. On my page, I will give updates, but I'm also launching a pay-per-view live stream channel where I'll be doing a lot of online work. Also, I'm looking to go onto the continent, and what I do when I go to the continent is share it. I will live stream it across various territories so that people who can't attend can get the experience. So I'm bringing Stafford still more modern and up-tempo and updated and wider streamed. Is why I created the page in the first place. I brought Mafia Tone to social media and a wider world.
Okay.
No internet, so,
okay. No. Well, many of sounds out there will be looking at your platform to see how they can replicate the same situation that you're creating for themselves. Because every sound system should have something to represent themselves going back in time. Because many of us spend many times doing things and leaving the history behind on the ground, and nothing's come forward. So
which is what them man did in the original sound. They never documented anything.
Well, it's just like many others. Many sounds have done the same thing.
Sure. Yeah,
so what I want to say to you right now, Leon, time's running out now, and the fact that you've the opportunity you've had today to explain yourself around Mafia Tone, and I hope that whatever plans you have for the future of Mafia Tone, many people and his fans and his supporters will be on board supporting you in what you do and going to the functions and the dances, etc. And like I said, expedition-wise, it'll be something great to see when you do your streaming, just to see those things in operation, those things working, and also that you create...
I'll be playing out and streaming. I'll be doing both, and when I play out, I'll say, smile, you're on candid camera, and I'll stream that for those who can't attend. And in countries I go to, vice versa. England will get the stream, and America and Jamaica and so forth. So I want a world party. Everybody share.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, I want to say thank you very much for your time. And I hope we can hook up.
Thank you for having me.
And I'll see you at the Molyneux as well, a little competition taking place in Wolverhampton very soon. Yes, and of course, there's more details on social media for that. But on that case, just give me your last words before you go.
Last words is that, like I say, Stafford, I brought you as far as I can go, but I hope I continue and make you proud in my own right to how I am bringing things to a wider audience. Also, thank you to my fans, DC, Kuntos, Moambasa, Wolfman, Lloydie Coxon, Amelia Harmony, beautiful singer over there in Derby, Enchanter Sound, and all the man I mentioned, Java, Quaker, Studio City, Messiah Esquire, all man wanna like me, you don't like him. Love you too, brother. No worry yourself.
All right.
Music is music, and that's what it's about. And thanks for the support for the last 10 years, and long may we see many more.
All right. Thank you very much, Leon, and have a wonderful Easter.
To God Almighty.
Yeah, man.
Giving me life.
All right. Respect.
Yeah,
manners and respect to yourself. All right.
Manners and respect, Godfather.
Okay.
Respect.
All right. Respect.
Hi, this is Leon from Mafiatone Sound System, Birmingham. You're in tune to the Godfather. Keep it real Sunday show.
And there you have it, the sounds of Leon from Mafiatone, Birmingham. Talks about the history of Stafford Douglas.
The Godfather. The weekend sounds great.
Godfather is the man.
Best music for your listening pleasure.
Come along. Come along. Come along. Follow I. We got to get out. We got to get out.
Once again, many thanks. Good night, of course. Leon from Mafia Tone, Birmingham. Big up all the sound systems who took time to listen to the history and the stories behind Stafford Douglas from Mafia Tone Sound System. Give him all his support and all the love. He's looking forward to it. And I know for a fact he's got many things he would also like to say, but we've had to cut it short because of time. Once again, thank you for joining the Godfather this Sunday, Easter Bank Holiday Sunday. Short but sweet, and of course we'll be here tomorrow from the hours of 3 till 6 with the Godfather, and we'll be going through a number of different things as well. We can also mention about Good Friday, or was it Bad Friday? We'll let you know more about that tomorrow afternoon on scarlantradio.org.uk. And also the lady of the moment as well. She goes by the name of Lady Flame. She'll be with us next week Sunday, and we'll feature her tomorrow afternoon. Until that time, stand by for the big bad Banton B Vinyl Sunday. Welcome, sir.
Out of Babylon, Jaja children, don't you know? Whoa, whoa, whoa. All my dreadlocks, Jaja children, don't you know? Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm the Martian, Jaja children, don't you know? Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm the General, Jaja children, don't you know? Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm the Sergeant, Jaja children, don't you know? Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm the Major.
The Godfather. The weekend sounds great.
Godfather is the man.
Music for your listening pleasure.
Come along. Come along. Come along. We I follow I. Follow I. We got to get out. We got to get out. Out of Babylon. We got to get out. Out of Babylon. We got to get out.
Yo, this is my professor of Arriva Studio on Keeping It Real. W Crazy with the Godfather. Whoa!
Skyline Radio would like to say a big thanks to everyone who has supported Skyline Radio. Please continue listening to the #1 internet radio station. www.skylineradio.org.uk